here on Friday, September 13th, 5-something a.m. And we're going to hear more Webdev from you. And then we got Pete there too, so we got a crowd. All right. So Ben, thanks for coming on, and looking forward to your 3 topics.
Thank you, Arnold. Good morning, everybody. And good afternoon for everybody in my time zone. The 3 topics we will discuss today, I'm sure that people have been going through this, but we will just discuss them to put them on record. One of them are creating page templates, palettes, and control templates for Webdev. Second issue which people struggle with is uploading files using a Webdev application and then storing those files in a database. And the third thing is creating PDF reports from Webdev, which is actually the easiest of the 3. So let's start off with the topic number 1. Due to the fact that I'm doing contract development, I get a lot of exposure to a blank web page where nothing exists, and I've got to go and create it from scratch. So I've created a Webdev application here, and as you can see, there is nothing in here. I like to go and create my own templates. Sometimes it's nice using soft velocity PCsoft templates, but velocity PCsoft templates, but I like to go and create my own as well. What I typically do is I go to my project and I use one of their templates as a starter for mine. So and let's say there's a nice blue template, I will go and use the Windows 7 template as a starter template for one of my own templates, and I'll tell you and I'll show you now what I mean with that. So I've got typically a landing page because we are looking at web applications or not websites. I've got a landing page which I log in, and then I've got a page which would hold a menu and other information for the application itself. So I've got 2 templates which I can create, but the landing page I never create a template. I only create one for the internal stuff. So obviously I don't want to go to the report. I want to go to templates of pages, and I go and create a new page template. Now I can use a preset template from the one I've just selected in my project, but I'm going to go and create a blank page. Now this is my blank page. Now I like my pages to be in the middle of my web browser, typically something like what you see here now. Now if I go and preview this page as it is, and I will say template main. I'll sit with something like this. You can see in the middle of my browser there is information to the sides of it. How do I get that? By taking my page and taking the anchor and changing the anchor to where I want my page to sit inside my browser. At this instance, the page is set to be centered horizontally and then also at the top. I don't like that very much. I like a little bit of a gap at the top. So what I like to do is to bring that page over down. So if we do that, now we see that the page is going the full width, and but it's still set in the center. Okay, so I can go and change that, and I can go and at the bottom, at the top of my page, drag it down a little bit, and if I get that, I get the effect of there being a little border at the top as well. That's something which I like. Okay. When I go and work with my templates, I prefer not to work with graphic images. They tend to slow down, especially around here inside. They tend to slow down information transfer. Let's quickly go and change that. I like a nice light gray shade, and in my actual page I make white. Now, being web application, I like to have the same effect on the web as what the user would see on a desktop environment. So I switch my pages and I make them size 1200 by 800. And I get a very nice page with which I can work with, which gives the user, now in this you can see 800 is a bit high, page to work with without any scroll bars. Okay, so let's go back there, and I can now make my page a little bit smaller than 800. I can make it 750 here at the bottom. Okay, now I've got a page with which I can work. Now I typically have a header information in my page, a menu and a footer, and then where the contents lies. Now we are all aware of how we can do that with tables. So what I would do is I would go away from tables, and in my project I would definitely go and say that my project is a HTML5 project, because that's something which is available to us and which we want to use. And in my pages, I would say that if I work with it, sorry, I haven't been working with this for a while now. I would make it edit in zoning and not edit in compatibility with version 16. But because I've already set it to HTML5, only edit in zoning is available to me. So let's go and create my header part. So I go to my page, I go to zoning, and I want to split the layout of my page. Now this gives me a little, let's call it a little cutting tool, which can cut horizontally or vertically. So what I would do is I would put it somewhere on the screen and drag horizontally for a horizontal cut. So I drag it horizontally, and immediately it shows me where my cut will take place, and I estimate that my first zone will be sitting there. Now, obviously, it's a very good idea to switch to the zoning mode when you're busy with zoning. There you've got your zoning mode and your page mode. So I want a second zone with my menu. So I go back to my page, zoning, and I will split again. And once again, I will drop it on the page and drag horizontally to make it a horizontal zone. And then I like to have a little footer at the bottom, so I will drag it horizontally again and create a little footer. Now you can see I've got 1 zone, 2 zones, 3 zones, and 4 zones. Some Some websites I want to zone down the left-hand side or the right-hand side, so I put it down and I drag it vertically, and then it starts zoning. Now people sometimes make the mistake of putting the zone control down and dragging it horizontally when they actually want a vertical zone. It's very important to make sure that your first movement after you've put the control down is in the direction of which you want the cut to happen. Okay, so now I'm done with my zoning, so that's my zones. Now I like my header to stay at the
Hey
top of
Ben,
the page. Yes.
with your zoning, is there a way to look at a grid or something to show you where you're dropping your zone?
I'm sure there's a grid. I never use grids on a page because the dots makes it difficult for me to see what I'm actually doing. But when
Oh,
you're in
okay.
a zone, you can see if you go
Well,
to
the
the
tooltips tell
description.
you where you are.
Yeah, but you can also see in the description what your zone information is. You can see where your zone information is lying. If you're busy dragging a, you can drag it, but you can adjust it as well. I'm not totally sure how to adjust it. I just create my zones as I okay, looks like if you go to the bottom right, you should be able to adjust your zones there. Nope, it's not adjusting. So that's an interesting question which Jerome might answer later. Okay, so I've got my different zones. You can see I can click on my zone. When I drop
Actually, the other one,
control to the
Ben.
page,
Ben,
yes,
it's actually the other number. If you change that 56 down there to 40, you're going to change the height of that zone.
the zone. Okay, so it changes to the zone. Oh, there we go. Thank you very much. Okay, so what I want to do with my zones, I want to be able to distinguish them. This zone I want to be sitting in the middle at the top. No reason other than I want it there. And for this zone, I want a background color of let's say that. My other zone, I also want that one with a background color, and let's say I want that color to be that. This zone I want white. This zone I might want a different color as well, just to distinguish them. And let's make that a color like that. And this zone at the bottom, I want a different color, and let's make that color. Okay, so now I've got my zones which I can work with. I'm still in the zoning control, and that's why I can put those colors in there. Now, a very important thing, and people forget this, is you have to go and name your zones. If you don't name your zones, you're going to have a problem when you go and you use these zones on a page, because more than likely you're going to have a clash of names, and then you're going to sit with issues. So if I take this page and I want to drop a template on here, a menu on here. So let's go and drop a menu on here. And let's go, and now you can see why I've used the Windows 7. So I can get a few options of menus which I can modify later. So let's use that one and go and to the page and go and drop that into that zone. Now you can see that there's a green bar indicating to me which would be the parent zone of where I'm dropping this control. Drop it in that one there. And then I can go, and the second part is I can go choose a template. Now, I don't want any of these Windows 7 templates. I want my own control template. So I go and I I duplicate that control. Then I go and I modify the duplicate, and I say this is my um, bin menu. And I can go to my style, and I can now go and modify my template as I want to. I like that to be white, and I like the background to be a, let's see, we go to backgrounds. I like it to be that background. No, that needs to be a dark background. Take that background, and then for my sub menu, I like my color to be white as well, and I like my background to be that background. Can maybe go a little bit darker with that one. That one there. That one is go. So there is my template which I'm working with. Now, what we've achieved, page template, and we've created a menu within that page. And what we've also done is we've gone and control template. And in this instance, the control template is that. Now, what I can do is I can go and add information there. Let's, for instance, say that is the login user and the static template display. Okay, and let's save that. And we've got our page template. Got one of our control templates. Now, just for purposes of using it, we're going to go and create based on our template main. Now, if you call your template main, you can also use is it use information. We haven't got a analysis link to this, so there's no RAD information. Also use RAD information on here. But there's our template, and now go and add controls. Now, a lot of people, what they do is the first thing they go do is they go and they're going to add a cell in here, and then they work with the cell and they adjust the cell, and then they add more information in there. Nothing wrong with it, but you don't need that to set this up. Now, one thing I know for a fact, which I haven't set up, is we don't save that. Let's go back to our main template, and one thing I haven't set up is the anchoring on the different zones. So I go to that zone, adjust with the browser. So let's change that, and the control adjusting back with the browser. Okay, so that is using page templates. Now I need to create, let's call it a table. Now let's go and create a table by programming, and we're going to give it 2, and there's our table by programming. We don't like the look and feel of this table, so we're going to create another control template on this. Right click on it, choose Webdev style, take the current one and duplicate it. Then you take the duplicated one, you modify it, and you name it Ben table. And then we can go and play with it. So if we go and modify that table any further, we can see if there's a caption, I want the caption centered, bold, and I want it as a 10. If there is even rows, I want the background to be that background. If there is odd rows, I want the background to be that background. Okay, so there we go, and there is our table. If I add another table in, and let's make that 4 columns. Now that goes to the default template. I can go and change it and select Ben's table, and it changes. If I want to go and change my control template, I can go and change the control template, go and modify that, and I can say there that my even rows are now, let's go and make it a nice yellow. And you can see throughout your whole project, all your controls based on your control template will change in one instance. There's something else I want to do here, and I want to make column headings, make the text white. There we go. So that's the basics of creating a page template and the basics of creating control templates and how to use them and how to set them up and how to create page regions and zoning without taking cells or tables into account. Okay, any questions on that part of it?
Chris asked a question. He says, what happened to the 2 texts to the left? They seem to overlap. I wasn't watching.
Oh, these 2, yeah. It must be something which I've set up incorrectly in my template. So let's go to the template. There's my zones. Okay, so I've got a zone here. Let's look at that anchoring. Might be something which I've set up incorrectly here. That is correct. The anchoring looks fine. Let's just make this bigger. See if we can find what's happening to it. Okay, so if I close that, we'll update that page again. We go back to page 1. Now we see that that's bigger. So let's change that there and set its anchoring there. Take that. It's definitely inside there. Now let's have a look. See. There we go. Is that better?
Yep. And Wolfgang says, Ben, your web style is very artistic.
I like the Windows 8 type of blockish information and colors. I I hate images on controls and within templates. The reason being is you're sitting with a specific type of color in your image, and then the user comes along and says, you know what, let's quickly go and change the palette because I don't like this palette. And then you go to your palettes and you go and create a new palette for your whole website. Now you've got images which are red and green and orange, and the new palette is green. So let's go and create a new palette. Let's generate a new palette, and let's say we want the color red as the base color for our palette. Webdev demo. Then it goes and creates a lot. Jerome, look here. This is one of the instances where the French comes through instead of the English. So, any case, so now you've got your general text colors, your negative colors, your notes, those types of things, and you can go and adjust any one of these colors in this palette if you're not happy with it, and then you can save that palette. And if you save that palette, your whole system updates to the new palette. So everywhere where the typical control was used from that palette, it will update your whole website to the new palette. So if we go and look at that top zone, which is changed to red, we can go and see that that comes from the background to palette, which is the background 2. Okay. Background, there we go, and there is the gray has got a red in them. If we go back to our palette for our whole project website and we go and change that palette, let's see, where's the palette now? What about, okay, it's quickly there. There's our website palette. And we go and take a new color. So we're going to say, so we're going to get rid of that one and we're going to modify it by saying come on. Sorry, I've got a click problem on my machine. I've got a thing running which captures my mouse. So let's just generate a new palette, for instance. We want to go for that. And it generates some nice palette information for us, and we use it, and there it changes our palette. Okay, you can go and play with modifying the palette yourself, but I don't think you can change the base color because the base color generates all the other colors. But there is your palette, and if we save that, there's our palette being used. And that's the reason why I don't use images inside controls. And when I'm talking about using images, I'm talking about this type of thing here, using an image there to indicate what the stuff should look like. Okay, so that's page templates, control templates. Now what we want to do, something nice which Jerome's going to give us feedback on, which I don't know if somebody knows about it. I've got these two tables, but I don't want them to sit there at runtime. I want the user to be able to change them. So here I'm going to go and create a cell, which I put in there, and I dump that control into that cell. and I can make the cell more or less the size of that table. And then the tricky part on that is to right click the cell and then tell the cell that this control can be overlaid and it's movable by the mouse, and you want to store the position of the cell. How do you move that cell? How do you move that cell around? By selecting the cell or moving the cell around. So let's do the same thing with another table, which is this one. And we're going to put a control there, which is cell. Come on, and there. And I'm actually going to just give that cell a nice little border so that we can actually see the cell. And I'm going to take that table and I'm going to put it in there. And for that cell, I'm going to also set it so that the cell can be overlaid. It's movable by the mouse, and we store the position. And I'm only going to be able to move that cell by dragging the cell itself. Okay, so now we run and we see our pages, tables. Now it says, no man, I want this table to be the first table on my screen and that table to be the second one. Now look at this. I can drag this cell by its table or by the cell itself. This cell I can drag by the cell, but not when I'm selecting the table, and that's how I've set it up. So I want those two to be like that. Now let's quickly go and run this program again. Now this is design time. And when I run it and I test, that's what I set it at runtime. And I want to take that one and put it down at the bottom. And if I go and run that again, there's my cells at the bottom. So that's just, it's typically used for dashboard environments where you've got multiple types of information to display to a user, and he can arrange it like he wants to on his dashboard. And typically what I would also do then is the ability to disable or hide or enable cells, which then obviously would present different information to the user. Okay.
That's crazy, man. That's neat.
And it's built into the system. Okay, now the second one, what we want to do is we want to upload information to a Webdev site and store it in a table. So let's quickly go and create a little table here. And I'm going to use that one. And okay, I'll have to publish this. Let's see. Okay. That one. Let's try that. Let's create a database there. Web demo. Okay, so let's quickly just take a. No, let's go and create one. Create a file, demo file, and that will be a text object and image object. Okay, now obviously my image object should be a binary image, and I wanted to automatically manage thumbnails because I want to display the thumbnails in either a table or in a looper or something like that. Okay, so then this will be a client server and it will connect to that. And there is our table to which we want to upload information. Save that. And we will. Okay, so now let's get rid of this table here. And let's get rid of this one. And now we will drop that in there as a table. So we will all of that. Let's make this bigger. And there's our table, there's our text object, and there's our image object. And what we're saying to this is, once again, I like personally to give my users the same experience they would get on a desktop. So I don't do unlimited. Our scroll bars come up. I know that there's going to be images in here. So what I would typically do is drag those to be just a little bit bigger as a default. I can put default images in there, whatever. So let's get rid of that, and then let's make this bigger, and yeah, okay. So we will go and create a button there to add information. In that instance, immediately I will go and I will duplicate that and I will modify my button and in button my own information I want in there, and I want the image of the button. I want to remove that. My background color is going to be that. Darkish one. Okay, so there we go. So there's my button. I'm going to add a record here. Okay, h-reset demo file, and then I'm going to open a page, and I'm going to actually go and create a new page in this instance so that we can play around with the code on the new page. I can also go and create, but the problem is with pop-up pages, you can only have one pop-up page open at a time. So I'm going to go and create a, save that. I'm going to go create a new page, and in this page I'm going to drag those two in there. So there's a text and there's an image object, and for the sake of clarity I will just go this little border. There we go. There's a nice little border. Now obviously to get a image in there I need an upload control. So what I will do is I will go to my controls and I will go to my upload control and put one in there. Okay. I'm going to cheat a little bit here and I'm actually going to drag upload control from another project in there, which is already set up with all the code, and we all can have a look at that. For custom. I'm actually going to cheat a little bit and drag a control from another project in here. And then I'm also got a code. Now, this is what John Flick was talking about this morning. He's got code in his upload control which automatically presses that button for him. Okay, so what I've got here is in my upload control, I've got no code, as you can see, because I allow the upload control to do its thing standard as PC Soft has coded it to do. What I do is all my code is lying in a separate thing, object, which does all the work. So all my code is lying in there, and all the code that is needed to upload a file from your disk to the web server is you specify a file name, you look at the upload control and say to yourself, if the upload control contains something, then you will extract the path from the path, the file name, the actual file name. Then you will tell the upload control to actually upload the image. Then you will populate your image control, and then you will execute a process on the image control to tell the image control that its actual contents has changed. So the first thing we need to do is to make sure that the upload control is called upload control. We do that, and it's called upload control. The second thing we need to do is to make sure that our image is called that. So what we will do is we go to our image and we say what's the name of our image, and it's called image client binary, and that is linked to that table, to that file, and to that field. And that is what I need to upload a control. Now, obviously, we've got to save this. So let's quickly go put a save button on here. And I want that to be my style. Here's my style. And what we will do on the button is we will say button add or save. That is save. And then obviously our standard code, which is behind the save button, if screen file, and if file.new record equals true, then add demo file, else modify demo file. Okay, and then we go and we what's that, return what previous page or something like previous page, which means it takes us back to our previous page. Okay, so that is our little form. I'm not going to handle these things for editing because we're not going to edit. We're always going to do one page upload. Here we save our page upload. Here we go, and we say we reset, which means we tell the record buffer to empty and activate the demo file .new file to true. Okay, so then we page page display, and there's our upload page. Okay, so let's quickly run that. Now there we go. Move that window into the middle. There we go. So now we want to upload something, and we will call that image 1. We go and browse for a file. So let's go to our pictures, and we go that thing there. Let's take that one, and then we upload it, which puts the picture into our image control, and when we save, that gets saved into our record. Now my server is not sitting locally, my server is sitting outside my environment. That's why it's taking a bit of time.
How can you tell? Is there a progress thing, Ben?
If there is, I haven't found it yet. I haven't been looking for it. But we've got very slow data connections here, and my database is sitting on a SQL server outside. I should have actually made it local. I should maybe do is, yeah, I have a local database. Analysis, got a local database. It, WINDEV, so, there we go. We can do that. Let me stop that. Okay. Another thing which we can do is, let's say that it's going to take place. Say page. Okay, on this. Save that, and we, yeah, let's go and test. So we will go and create an object. There we go. There's a picture. Now, don't worry about size. We can do that one. There's a go and save it. Add another one. Browser. Let's take a smaller picture. That one. Upload it to picture control and save it. Now I don't think I've set that correctly, but your information is lying there. Now, if we want to see if that's valid, we can actually go hyperconn. And there's a lot of people that might, if you go to table there, and the picture hasn't updated. Now, let's quickly see why that hasn't. Our upload page, go to our description, and we tell there the database that you can just do that.
You copied code in there. Maybe something wasn't renamed, or
Is that image in the table linked to the right field? Okay. Oh, there. That's right. Hmm.
Ben, Wolfgang says, do you not need the upload start function to kick it off?
No, it's not. You're just setting it up. Oh, okay. Just on your save button, just yeah, but just look under your save button where you actually save your record. I'm sure you got your upload start there. Yeah. Just put under your save button, upload, your upload start. Yes. Just before screen to save, or wait, the page and screen is synonymous. So you can actually mix it too, but
Yeah, Jerome said they're synonymous, so.
yeah, but you tend to keep Windows to the Windows and WebDev to the WebDev one.
Mm-hmm.
Just try yeah, just go back to the previous code. Yeah, upload. Yes, you put that one there. Upload, start, and that file name. The upload. The upload copy file. What's the first parameter of that one? You put in there. Is correct. Just go there. Yeah, just go out that where the other code is. Just want to see what you call upload copy file. You must take that edit upload. So what you must put where that edit upload, you put in your save section upload start edit upload. Close brackets in the parentheses. The first parameter. And your save button. You follow what I'm saying? You type in upload start. Yeah, upload start. Edit, open bracket, edit, upload, edit, upload. Yeah, that one. I'm nearly sure it's that. No, that must be, that must be, sorry, it must be in your browser code. Let's just see if, not too sure, I've played around some time ago, so I'm trying to do that on the top of my head. Yeah, still something there. Yeah, something is still.
Are you sure that it's not in the database and it isn't a problem just in the link on the browser, on that browse?
No, it's not uploading it. It's not there. No,
Oh,
it's
it's
not
not
uploading
there.
it. Hmm. Something is just fundamental. Yeah.
Okay, now if you look at your browse, does it show up?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It is.
All right. Interesting. So it's not saving it. Interesting.
Although Ben, just click on the button option, and there's a drop-down list, and one of them is the code complete thing for uploading. And on the toolbar on top to create, the create toolbar. Oh, you're using the old one. I've got used to the new one. It's on the create tab on the old on the new system. But there's a drop-down list on. Where's your buttons? There. Second row toolbar there. Drop down, and then there should be one of the options. Why don't I see the options? I don't see the options. One of them is upload button. I don't know why you don't see it there now.
Okay, where's it? On the creation, yes.
Right.
Button.
Down. There's an upload button there somewhere.
Yeah. It might be my upload button. Is it an other?
Sending serial files. There it is. Sending serial files. There it is. Right in front of you.
If the upload was broken,
Yeah,
would it
sending serial files.
play in the
List
page?
of files to upload and that. There you go.
Yes. Okay.
And that one you just.
If the upload.
It's all there with the progress bar and everything. So it's all done for you. Just go out of the code.
So is that the same? What is this controls description?
Just leave it like that. You should all work.
URL upload.
If you drop that down, it just works. It just works.
Okay, let's have a look. See there.
I would think that your upload was working, since the
My
image
upload
is
was
on the
working.
page.
It was just not saving it into the database.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I thought it was because of that.
Okay, there's a progress bar for the
update.
upload.
Yeah. How big is that file?
Something's going on here. Obviously, that's not happy.
Yeah, something's going. Yeah.
Okay.
Did you take the code out of the
the
save button?
There is no code on the save button. I haven't done anything yet. I've just used this.
That upload start of what we put in.
Yeah. Let's just do a normal upload button. Let's just do a normal upload button.
Okay.
Insert upload control. Upload control. Edit. Upload. see, the upload part works. It's the actual saving into the database which is at issue here.
Yeah.
Find.
No,
Find it.
the upload is the upload part. Isn't it just doing it in the browser? It's not really sent to the server yet.
Precisely, that's what I mean. Is when you do this part here. When you do this part here, let me show you. When you do this part here, that upload control and this code together loads the file up to the server, and it displays it in the browser, and that's already on the server. But this one here is supposed to put it into the table with the command page to file, but it's actually not doing that. So something else which might be at issue is I can try and remove that and bring that back in there and say that that comes from a database, and the link is to the database object. Okay, and let's quickly go and give it a name, and which I'm working with there. And that's the name. Okay, now, which puts me to thinking, maybe there's code in that, but there's no code in there. So let's try and run this again. Go and create that. Let's go and make sure that we've got a PNG file, for instance, that it might not be a file type. Images, and there's a PNG file. Okay, so there's a nice PNG file, and that will be a calculator, and save that, and it's not inside that table. We go, so it's something with a saving. Say again?
But hang on, haven't you now scrolled off the screen because you got a whole lot of records? No.
Okay, let's have a quick look there.
I'm just trying to make sure, because I think you've got too many rows now.
Make that bigger. This thing is set to scroll. And what I will do is I will make that. That's automatically, so the vertical scroll bar will always be is, and change the height of the control so we can run that. It's only those two which we put in there. In any case, let's go on with the third one. This is something to do with the actual save and not with uploading the image. The uploading of the image works 100% with that code. It uploads it to the web server and it puts it into that image control. Okay, so the third one that we want to do is we want to create a PDF from a record which we are, for instance, printing. So obviously for us to be able to create a PDF, we need to go and create a report first. So let's go and create a report, and we will go and create a table report, and that comes from existing table. We will take that one, and it's a nice little report, and there's our report. Okay. At some stage along the just open that and rename it. report demo file. Okay. We want to print that report. We go back here and we say we're going to print a little report here. There we go. Now, what we want to do is firstly we need to name our report where we want to print him towards. Okay, so we've got to give it a name, and my report name is a string, obviously, and all my information goes to my data directory. So it's my fdata dir. So it retrieves where my data is lying on my server, and then we're also gonna try and not do the same as Johannesburg in South Africa, where they give the invoice number inside the URL, and then the guys can go and look at other people's invoices because they just use other invoice numbers. So what I do is I use a date and a time. Date sys plus time sys plus point PDF. So I'm saying I'm creating a PDF with a unique name which consists of the date and the time that the PDF is printed. Okay, so then I'm going to say I need to change my destination from a standard printer to a PDF. So our destination is a generic PDF, and what will be my file name, and that will be that one which I find there. Okay, then I'm going to go and print my report. Report my file. Okay, then if I'm in web mode, which I am, then I'm going to say I want to display the PDF file to the user. And what file do I want to display to the user? I want to display the file I've created. And because my server doesn't know, this comes directly from me as a command, so I need to tell my server what is the MIME type of this report which I'm working with, and it's a PDF, so that would be obviously application PDF, which is one of the default standard MIME types which the servers know about. And then once I've displayed this report, I can either store it on my table, on my hard disk, or I want to delete it. In my instance, I delete the file as soon as I've displayed it, because I don't want my whole web server to be filled up by PDF files of reports people are printing. Okay, so that is my code to run my PDF file. So let's run this program. And I want to print my PDF. And at the bottom it tells me, do you want to open or save it? Because I've used the command file display. It offers the file to me. I click on open, and it opens the file with my default browser. So let's quickly go and see. According to that, everything is fine. So if we do that, let me go back and I show you on a live system how that works. I will log into a live system, and on my live system I've got, for instance, information within a browser, and I use that same code and I click on it and it shows me the file, the PDF file. Okay, so you can see here, then you get your controls. Now this is in Chrome. So let's go and change how we're going to look at this, and we go and change that our test mode, our test browser to Chrome. Go and run that. And there is our page in Chrome. Click on the report, and obviously the report doesn't run because anything into the report. Let's see, we want to have a nice little report which runs there. I will have to do some coding in the report itself. And let's description and say print the report, include compiled code, blocks. Okay. So if there's no information in there, it should be printing this. Okay. So what I do for my report, I create a string which names my report uniquely. I change my destination to a generic PDF. The reason I'm using a generic PDF, there's a difference between a generic PDF and a standard PDF file. If we want to go and have a quick look at that. My destination, there we go, my destination. Okay, there's the destinations, and if we go and look at the there. A generic PDF is a PDF that is all printers or devices on which you print them, where iPDF is not generic. It's like it is I don't know how to set it. Can somebody generic? It's like a EMF and a EML file, a Windows meta file and an enhanced meta file. A Windows meta file displays the same on all devices, where an enhanced meta file displays the same on all devices. The same with a generic PDF and iPDF display on all devices 100% the same. And this is where Andre might have had his problems when he said that his PDF doesn't display on device. but it displays on an iOS device. He might have been using iPDF as his destination instead of generic PDF. Does that make sense?
I know it's quiet, but people are here.
Yeah, but does that make sense? The difference between using iPDF and generic PDF. iPDF is not guaranteed to display on all devices, where generic PDF is guaranteed to display on all devices.
It's
Now,
more
that also
universal, huh?
means that, yeah, that means that generic PDF doesn't make use of the latest and greatest PDF format, but a previous version of that. Okay, so that basically wraps it up. I'm sorry about some of the issues which has cropped up. I can only attribute that to my environment, but the code is solid. It allows us to create page templates. It allows us to create control templates. We can play around with those control templates. We can go and change our palettes, which affect our whole website in one go. We can upload images to our website and save them in our data tables. The actual saving part, I think, is due to something on my side, but that code is solid. And we can go and print reports by creating generic PDF reports, which is available on all devices, and then run them from there. Anything else? Anything comment? Pending?
Then,
Yeah. Chris had some
Yes,
comments here.
please.
in your save, did you do a
Yes, let's
image
go and have a
change
look at that.
on the save
There, I
before
did
you
an
do
execute.
before you do your page to
There
file?
is my code. So I did an execute process, image client binary.
Oh, okay,
There we
you did
go.
it there. Okay. I thought you'd have to do that. I thought you'd had to do that in the save
Okay, we
before
can
you do
also
the
put that into the save,
page to file, but it'll
but let's
probably
do that
work
there and
at the
have a
same
quick look and
place there
see
too.
on it.
It was the only other thing I could think of.
Okay, let's have a, there's a PNG that was captured. We save it. There's our image. Save it. Nope, that also didn't do it. I suspect it's something on my table.
Okay.
It's something on my side, which and we spend a lot of time on it, but it's something on my side. Okay. Any other
Oh,
comments?
thanks. This was enlightening.
At least you can
No, you
at
covered quite a
least
bit.
you can now have a idea of dragging your tables around on the page and those types of things as well, and how to work with your
Yeah, that's
data
crazy.
in the back end and so on.
That's really cool. It looks a lot easier than I expected.
Yes, I just wish that things would stop going wrong when I demo, you know. The code is solid. It just doesn't
So
work.
everybody says,
Yeah. In any case, thanks guys for attending,
so
and we'll do this at some other stage again.
yeah, Ben, thanks for doing this, and we miss you.
It's
I know
just,
you've been
yeah,
busy,
it's just
so
busy.
thanks for taking the time.
Thank you very much for the opportunity, and we'll do it again. Yes.
Okay, Ben Dell, thanks again, and we will see you later.
Bye
Take
bye.
care. Have a great weekend, everybody.